Welcome back to the Thom Hartmann Program. I am Alex Lawson, sitting in for Thom, and I'm really happy to talk about a big win that we just had in Washington, D.C. On paid family leave. And I have Council Member at Large Elissa Silverman joining me to talk about this victory, what it means for folks in the District of Columbia, but also how it can be a model for work for work around the country. Council Member, thank you so much for joining us. And I did not click the button, so I'm going to have to do that again and say, Council Member, thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure to be here.
So tell us just a little bit about this bill.
Sure. So as you said, we had a big victory yesterday. We had our second and final vote on a bill that would create a paid family and medical leave program in the District of Columbia. So what this means is that we're going to create a insurance system that will allow people, when they have great events in their life, like adding a new child, either through birth or adoption, or some very challenging events in their life, either an illness of a family member or themselves, that they will have compensated time off. Right now, there's a federal law, the Family and Medical Leave Act, which allows you in those type of situations to be able to take leave, but it is unpaid leave. This would create a paid leave system similar to systems that are in place in California, Rhode Island, New Jersey, and New York is putting one in place very soon.
But better, in fact. And what the federal law really is actually just you can't be fired for taking that time, right? I mean, it's you
That's
don't
right.
you don't get paid, so.
That's right. So this is an enhancement. What the federal law does is say, yes, if you need to take time off to care for yourself or a loved one, that you have job protected leave. For us to, under federal law, 12 weeks. In the district, we have an enhanced version of 16 weeks. But as you said, it's unpaid. What this allows you to do, we heard stories from residents at our hearing. We had 3 hearings on this bill. Stories from residents who, moms who felt like they had to come right back to work. They couldn't afford to take time off to both take care of their newborns as well as take care of themselves, because it's certainly giving birth is a wonderful thing, but it can also be very straining and stressful to the body. And also, the really heartbreaking stories I have to tell you were of adult children who knew their parents were in the end stages of their life, or in some cases, they might have had children with serious illnesses, and they just couldn't afford to take that time off to basically say goodbye. We actually had a council member, one of my colleagues, told an extremely moving story at the hearing yesterday about when he was, I think, about 8 years old. His mother died of breast cancer, and then weeks later, he was in a serious car accident. And he talked about how he remembered being in the hospital and having to go through various, very stressful procedures that were very scary. And his dad just couldn't afford to take the time off. So, he had to go through those procedures alone, and how just terrifying it was as a child.
And the thing is that I should note, I think you know this, but I'm the executive director of Social Security Works, and that's why I'm so excited to talk about this, because we actually advocate at the federal level for 12 weeks of paid family leave through the Social Security system, because paid family leave as social insurance is something that around the world everybody recognizes as a way to deal with these very wonderful and beautiful occurrences of bringing new children into the world, but also these very regular and life is beautiful because it can be so hard in end-of-life situations, or with accidents, or with disease and illness. And the fact that people in this country actually can't be there for their loved ones in those situations, or that new parents are forced to go back to work the day after the birth of a child or the adoption of a child. It just makes no sense. It wouldn't even make sense in any realm, but especially because we know exactly how to do it in a very fair way through a social insurance model. That this new DC bill, it actually leads the way on. The organization Social Security Works, that I'm the executive director of, we endorsed this bill, and I actually went to the Wilson building and went into offices and talked about the effect on our nonprofit, which I will try in the very short amount of time we have left. I'll tell you what a social insurance model does. Because we live our values at Social Security Works, we fight for 12 weeks of paid family leave. So we obviously offer our staff 12 weeks of paid family leave on the birth or adoption of a new child. So in my staff of 9 last year, including myself, 3 of us had children. So 1/3 of our staff, of our workforce, had children last year. So we gave 12 weeks of paid family leave, which that all cost us on our, right? We paid for that. And it's a very small nonprofit. Now, what you've done is made it a social insurance model so that we would pay in, and then everyone would get those benefits. And it's not a huge drain on small business or small nonprofits.
So that's a great point, Alex. One other point I want to add in is we actually, our council of the District of Columbia Budget Office did a very thorough analysis and of the bill. And so you mentioned that, yes, by having an insurance system, it spreads the cost and spreads the risk. So it makes it cheaper for people to be able to provide this benefit. But I also want to emphasize that what the Budget Office analysis found is that there's a big savings and benefit to businesses as well. So
definitely
people who hire and employ workers, because when you're not worried about your mom or dad and like what is going on every day, and is their health taken care of, then you're more productive at work. There's studies that found that when you give paid family leave, people, their morale is better because they feel that they're cared for and their family is cared for. That makes them more productive. It also means that they're likely to stay with their employer, which reduces employee turnover. And those are all great cost savings to workers or to their employers. So there's a great benefit to paid family leave in terms of businesses as well.
100%. It's across the board. Unleashes entrepreneurialism. People are more able to take risks. It is a very sensible policy. And unfortunately, the rest of the country, with some exceptions, has not caught up to where DC is. But DC is now really the model, because this bill, I know you have to go, but this bill really is the best designed bill that I've seen around. So I think that what you just passed, and it wasn't an easy fight either. I watched the sallies back and forth, and there was not supported by the mayor. There was a lot of it took a lot of effort on your and your colleagues' part, and I really want to congratulate you on a big victory that is an amazing win for the people of the District of Columbia. It's a roadmap for municipalities around the country. And it's also just a reminder that in this new age of Trump, cities and municipalities are not going to go backwards. Progress will still happen. We are going to walk forward together, and leadership like yours is how we're going to do it.
Well, thank you, Alex. Well, I have to give a ton of credit not only to my staff, but the staff of my co-introducer, Councilmember David Grasso, and his staff, especially Ann Robinson on his staff. This was and Chairman Mendelson, the chairman of the council, who ended up being the manager of the bill after introduction. It was really a collaborative effort on all our parts, and as you said, the really, I think, thing I'm so excited about is that the District of Columbia, residents of the District of Columbia and workers will benefit. So if your listeners are thinking, where should I move to that's going to support me and my family, you should move to the District of Columbia and work in the District of Columbia.
Thanks so much for joining us. And again, congratulations on this victory for all the residents of the District of Columbia. Councilmember Elissa Silverman, thank you so much.
Thank you, Alex.